Hey guys, Colin, and I'm back again to share some more records and board games. Today we're back in 1973, and today I'm sharing Redbone's Wovoka. This was Redbone's fifth studio album, which came out in 1973. Now, the hit single off of this was Come and Get Your Love, which went gold, I believe, in the year or two following the release of this. It's on a Epic label. It's on a yellow label there. And here's a picture of the guys on the back. Now, this group was founded by Pat and Lolly Vegas. They were a mixture of Native American, Hispanic, and Cajun. Their music was comprised mostly of funk, rock, and a Cajun mix. This is a fabulous release by them. I know they didn't really get a lot of attention besides Come and Get Your Love from this record. They did have a few other hits, which was The Witch Queen of New Orleans and a couple of others, but we all know Come and Get Your Love from the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. Pat and Lolly Vegas. Now, they had a long and storied history before they even became Redbone. Especially Pat Vegas. He played with other bands and groups, notably Tina Turner, Sonny and Cher, James Brown, Little Richard, and Elvis even. And I believe they even had a mariachi-style band at one point. But I was reading some history on how they became Redbone. I think they got the idea from Jimi Hendrix, of all people, suggested that they form a all Native American rock band. They were signed in 1969. The price of sandals at the time was $2.81. The Super Bowl champions were the Miami Dolphins. The World Series winners were the Oakland A's. Some quotes of the time that came out at the time was Burger King, have it your way. Soylent Green is people from the movie Soylent Green with Charlton Heston, and that's about all that I can come up with on this record because I've talked about it so much over the years. A little story I can tell you is that I went with my mother to the one of their concerts back sometime in the mid 1970s, and I barely remember it. I remember going. It was after dark, with my mom to the concert, and she was listening to the music and probably enjoying the music, but I was running around with all the other kids that were there, and we weren't paying any attention to the music. And it wasn't until a couple of years later my uncle had this album in his little collection, and he would play this almost every night or almost every other night. And we would sit up and listen to his records, and one of them was this Redbone's Wovoka. And also we would sit up and play board games. The only board games I really remember from then is Monopoly was the main one. We would be up for hours playing Monopoly, because back then there wasn't any internet and cell phones. We barely got 3 or 4 fuzzy television stations on the TV. So we stayed up and listened to records, and one of them was this Redbone. And going out with that on the board games, I'm going to talk about tonight. I'm going to show you a little bit of a game that we've been playing lately. We've only played it once so far, but we had a lot of fun. This will probably be one of my favorite games that we've played, and that's a game called Stratego. And this is the 1970 edition. This actually is a older game than that. It wasn't called Stratego to begin with. It came out in Europe originally, and the pieces were made from cardboard, and those are almost priceless and hard to find these days. The very original version of Stratego, but this is the 1970 version right here. But the one we started out playing was this one right here, the 1999 Stratego, as my camera goes in and out of focus. I really need to update that one of these days. But anyway, here's the 1999 Stratego. And we had a lot of fun playing this, so now I'm kind of stuck on collecting Stratego games. I think I'm going to end up with about 3 or 4 different versions of this. And I'll probably end up getting more than that. You know how us collectors go. Once we get one of something, we have to have more than one. Just like on your albums, you have to have every version of some certain favorite album of yours. And this is going to be one of my favorite board games. Now I wanted to show you the boards themselves. Now, since we started with the 1970 Stratego, I'll show you the 1970 board that goes with that. Here's the 1970 Stratego, and it has all the characters down here and their value points right there on the top and the bottom. And here's the 1999 version, and a lot of these games after the 70s and 80s went into these smaller like triple fold boards, I guess, to make the box sizes smaller, but I really find them quite awkward and it'd be a little bit more delicate. And this is the 1999 Stratego board. It's a lot more colorful, but now you have missing the characters on the top and the bottom, which kind of would serve as a guide to helping you through the game. Now, Stratego is kind of a mixture of chess and checkers elements because it has a grid of squares which you move up and down. And the object of the game is to capture the flag, your opponent's flag on the other side, and you have all these different military characters with different values that are attacking each other and things like that. And the first person to capture the other person's flag is the winner. Now I wanted to show you the pieces, a couple of pieces from these games. Here we have the 1970 Stratego game piece, and this is the highest ranking officer in the 1970 Stratego. See, he's a number 1. And here's the 1999 Marshal, or highest ranking officer, and he's a number 10. Now, a lot of people don't like this. I don't know if you noticed. The 1970 highest ranking officer is a number 1. The 1999 is a number 10. Now they switched the numbers around sometime starting in the 1990s, I believe. And a lot of people don't like that. Now, we've started playing this version, but I think we can really get a grasp on the same thing on this. Now, I like the 1970s pieces a lot better, even though they're smaller and less chunky, because the graphics on the outside there are almost etched into the plastic, and they have a gold and silver color on the pieces. On the 1999 version, it's a sticker. Now, when I bought this game, some of the stickers were starting to peel off, so I had to kind of push down on them, and luckily the stickers stuck back to the piece. But eventually, on these newer games, these stickers are just going to fall off, and your game, you'll have to glue them back on, or you might lose them. But that was just a comparison on that. I like these 70s ones where they're etched into the plastic. I know that they do make some retro versions of Stratego where I haven't seen them yet, but they look like they went on those ones. You can get the etching in them. And on that, they're still making Stratego to this day, and they're using the stickers. But anyway, I highly recommend you go out and play Stratego. It's for 2 players. It's a very fun game to play. And that's it for my video. And Colin, over and out, and play some more board games.